Hi guys and welcome back to Tommy's Starcraft. This is your host Tommy with another Starcraft Remastered replay for you guys. Once again we have a great engagement here in between two pro players from the Starcraft Broodwar scene. Let me just start by introducing the players to you guys, as it is of course an international gameplay once again. We have South Korea versus Canada right now. So in the lower left part in the brown it is BOXER from South Korea, one of the first pro gamers in this scene. And let's just have a look at his opponent. Spawning here in the upper right in the blue, it is Huck from Canada. So Canada versus South Korea, very interesting. Terran versus Protoss we have here on Lost Temple. As we've seen this observer of course killing his own SCVs and moving out on the map just to not allow any detection. So we once again see a Terran versus Protoss. Terrans of course known to go into mechanical units against Protoss. Some early aggression could be of course a possibility with some bunker rush, with some marine rush, but it's very unlikely and very rare, and of course very risky, as BOXER is of course opening up here with a supply depot pretty much near to his mineral lines just to protect those SCVs from any aggression. Same can be said here about Huck, who is placing this pylon also very near to his mineral line and following up here with a gateway built up. So pretty standard stuff here by both players. The pretty normal opening up here by them. Nothing out of the ordinary, no cheese, no shenanigans, as of course BOXER is going to continue with a barracks here for him. And we are also about to see what Huck exactly is going to go into, as of course a lot of Protoss like to opt for some carrier gameplays later on, or some arbiter gameplays, and usually go for zealots with dragoons. Of course a very casual and very good strategy here if you're a Protoss facing a Terran. Of course you could add some hype psionic storms, some reaver shuttle gameplay, so everything is possible if you're a Protoss of course facing a Terran. Not building any zealots, he's just going straight into that cybernetic score, so of course he's going for some early dragoons. Early dragoons in the game are very strong against the Terran, as if you micro them correctly they can do so much damage against some marines for example early on, even some SCVs if they manage it to get through. As we have the first scouts out on the map, probe is going to scout this location as the SCV also goes into the wrong direction here. So we're about to find out exactly when these players are going to detect each other, what the follow-up is going to be, as I'm pretty sure that BOXER is going into some factory gameplay here. The same can be said here by Huck, spawning his first dragoon, so pretty soon they're about to find out where exactly they are and what exactly the follow-up is going to be here, when exactly the expansion is going to go up. Pretty standard stuff, like I told you guys. No early aggression here from both players, as we're going to see Huck what exactly is he going to opt to. He's building of course a robotics facility bay. This robotics facility bay can produce of course observers and maybe some shuttles later on, some reavers here for Huck, but of course observers very much needed here for the Protoss, as the Terran really likes to go into mechanical vultures with mines just to defend his base, just to place as many mines as possible around the map, not allowing the Protoss to move out, of course if he's not having that observatory. So the first dragoon even chasing this SCV away. Notice that BOXER sends this SCV straight into the wrong direction just to buy himself a little bit of time, and they're even going to find this other SCV here. Even this other SCV is attacking this SCV, so pretty interesting stuff here by the observer. I guess it was an auto attack. Perhaps Huck is going to kill this one as well. Yes, even BOXER writing 2 versus 1. Why did this observer attack that SCV? Really interesting stuff here by Gunrun, the observer here. I guess he really wanted to be part a little bit of the action here, as he's at 30 APM, so yeah, BOXER a little bit surprised here by the reaction of the observer, but I believe that SCV would have been taken out anyway. So let's just have a look at the follow-up here, when exactly BOXER is going for a expansion, when exactly Huck is going for the expansion. Notice that he's firstly building a shuttle here, so no observatory yet here for him. Even this reaver robotic support base, so some reaver gameplay will of course follow up here by him, as BOXER decides to expand right next to his base. Even moves out here with a nice army composition, with some marines, with a tank and even a vulture, placing some defensive mines here. And sends a scouting barracks out on the map. So an early aggression here by BOXER. But the ramp is being blocked, of course, by 2, but it's just 2 dragoons, and remember there is no observatory yet, so those mines could be very deadly here against Huck. Huck moving out now, perhaps he's going to allow a move through here by just to attack with those dragoons. Notice that the Terran has no vision here on the high ground, so he needs to be very, very careful, but there's a Reaver here with that shuttle. The shuttle needs, of course, to be careful, and as soon the BOXER sees that Reaver, he's of course going to back up. As this Reaver, very, very strong unit here against those marines, especially with that splash damage. Oh, that shuttle is in a little bit of trouble. Huck with a little bit of a mistake here. He might lose that shuttle. So he needs to be very, very careful here, not too much aggression here. Yes, his Reaver is a little bit exposed, but deals that splash damage against the vulture and the mine, so pretty good stuff here by him. BOXER, of course, decides to follow up with an expansion now, given the fact that Huck has no expansion yet, and he's going straight into, what is this, perhaps some stargates, perhaps, no, even more and more gateways. So only a 1 base Terran versus a 1 base Protoss, 31 workers versus only 22 here for Huck with his second Reaver, but his shuttle is very, very hurt, so he needs to be careful. Just a few marines could take out this shuttle here for him. Finally, the speed upgrade has been kicked in, so the shuttle could do a lot of economic damage here against BOXER, but he needs to be very, very careful. As like I told you guys, the shuttle is hurt, so these marines could be very, very strong against it. Even a race is being added, so Huck might be in some trouble here. Only 1 SCV mining from this location. It sadly is going to be taken out very, very fast. Once again, another SAV is going to pop out here, but the Reaver is of course going to take care of that. However, Huck needs to be careful, as soon this race is going to come into the gameplay, he's very likely going to lose that shuttle, so he decides to retreat, of course, and expanding on his own observatory finally out here on the map, just to detect those mines pretty soon. I'm sure he's going to move out with this observer. Indeed, placing it here in the front just to detect any early aggression here by BOXER or any incoming aggression here. So BOXER feeling very confident here right now. Just decides to mine from this place. As he's having, of course, 10 more miners here than Huck, and sadly for Huck, he did lose this shuttle. So very, very good stuff here by BOXER defending this location. Of course, Huck very greedy. He tried to kill those many SCVs, but his shuttle was so much hurt. And of course the race said thank you and killed that shuttle as fast as possible. So 2 Reavers here lost by Huck, and a hurt shuttle, of course, being taken out. So he did manage to drop 1 Reaver here, but sadly for him, of course, BOXER very fast on that reaction, very fast with his starport, I'm sorry, defending off this attack here from Huck. So a little bit of a small victory here for BOXER, of course, against Huck. Citadel of Doom is being added, of course, just to upgrade those zealots' leg. More and more dragoons are being added. Some zealots are here, of course, but yeah, things looks pretty good here for BOXER as he did fend off this early aggression. It could have been a very good attack by Huck with that shuttle, but sadly for him, given the fact that he mismicroed that shuttle a little bit early on, he did lose quite a consistent army composition here, and at the same time he's moving out with some observer with those dragoons just to detect those mines, but at the same time BOXER wishes to secure this expansion here for him. So with a small dragoon group, of course it's going to kite a little bit back and forward and just kill some vultures, some marines, but in the end, of course, as soon as the siege tanks will siege up, this aggression will be fended off. BOXER decides to move out a little bit back. His SCVs are a little bit in the front here. Perhaps a little bit of he wanted to perhaps transfer them into this location, so I guess siege tank ability is of course being researched or even finished, and Huck decides to of course pull back a little bit. He's adding some more and more Zealots, of course, zealots need to be in the front just to soak up those mine damage, that splash damage. Nice dropship placement here by BOXER, just tries to kill, of course, as many probes as possible. Let's just see exactly where he's going to drop that siege tank and the vultures onto this position. Two vultures very fast in the front, but Huck seems to be prepared for that. Vultures with those mines dealing so much splash damage here. Really, really good stuff here by him, but his dropships is taking so much damage, and he is able to drop that tank before he died. So pretty good early aggression here, even those mines dealing more and more splash damage here for BOXER. But Huck really nice reacting on this aggression and fending it off pretty good, as BOXER is adding his units here into this expansion, even adding some missile turrets in case there is a Dark Templar move out here. And once again, things are settling down as both players are now in a more defensive mode. Another shuttle is being added, but what exactly is he going to do with that shuttle? Perhaps drop some zealots here, perhaps. It's going to build into more reavers, indeed reavers it is, as he adds some more gateways. And perhaps later on even some arbiters should be an option here for him. Workers aren't really mining everywhere, so a little bit of a mistake here by Huck. The base from the Terran, of course, like I told you guys, more and more factories will be added here, as he's going to add more tanks, even some Goliaths in case later on some carriers will be added. Currently right now he's just moving out with those vultures, just placing as many mines around the map, just defending the location. I'm pretty sure that he's going to expand into this location here as well. Let's just have a look at upgrades. Still 0-0 upgrades here for Huck, as there's also 0-0 upgrades here for BOXER, as we're closing it at the 12-minute mark. More and more map awareness here by BOXER, as he's just moving out, just placing as many mines as possible, just to deal as much splash damage as possible against these units. But of course Huck should be prepared with that observer here against the vultures, and here we go. Huck needs to be careful, of course. One zealot in the front is going to soak up the first damage, but immediately stops his units here, puts them on hold position, just waiting here for that observer. Needs to be very careful, as these vultures are doing exactly that. They try to lure here these dragoons into those mines, just to deal as much splash damage as possible, as even more and more zealots are being added, of course, here by Huck. But the map has been mapped all over the place, mined all over the place. It's a 2 versus 2 base engagement here in between these two pros. So let's just have a look at the follow-up here. Defensive position here. Let's just have a look how many factories does he have. 3, 4, 5, 6, and even add some units here. Some dropships. I thought he was going into some science vessel, but no, it's indeed dropships. So dropship gameplay once again here by BOXER. BOXER, of course, very much known for his dropship harassment, dropship gameplay. What exactly is his target going to be here? Perhaps this location, this expansion would be good. The main is also a good expansion. One zealot here in the front, as a very lone zealot here in the front, as Huck blames, of course, his coach. So let's just have a look when exactly BOXER is deciding to move out, or is he going to move out once again. He prepared a dropship with very likely 4 vultures here. Good observer detection here against those mines. And this is, like I told you, the standard army composition of a Protoss if they go against the Terran. Zealots in the front, backed up by those dragoons. But the Terrans will, of course, very likely play very defensively, but at the same time harass the Protoss with those vulture drops. Perhaps even vulture drive-bys here, as the vulture is a very fast unit. And let's just have a look. We have a first huge engagement here. The siege tanks finally are sieging up here. Vultures should be in the front. A good engagement here by Huck. So many zealots in the front. They soak up that minerals, the mines going straight for those siege tanks. The siege tanks are getting surrounded here by Huck. So really good stuff here by him. Great engagement here by him, as this unit composition here for BOXER is being cleared by Huck. So Huck looking in a very good position here. But more reinforcements are here in the back from BOXER. More and more mines are being placed at the same time. He did a nice drop here with those vultures, with those mines. Let's just have a look at this engagement. Sadly for BOXER, he's going to lose this expansion. He has to lift it up. and just lure his opponent more and more into those mines. Pretty good stuff here by him. At the same time, he's dealing so much economic damage here with this drop, so this is a very good counter against the Protoss. But the probes are fighting now for their lives. Huck is even moving out more and more out on the map, but in the end there's just one siege tank. Here are some siege tanks on the high ground. Indeed there are. The dragoons are attacking this expansion, and sadly they do take so much splash damage here out of those two siege tanks here, so pretty good engagement, pretty good defense now here by BOXER with those mines dealing massive amounts of splash damage. And if you look at the work account, all of a sudden BOXER at 54 versus 41 here, so pretty good stuff here by him as the siege tank. But in the end, in the middle of the map, Huck had a really nice engagement, but he just has to be more careful here with his army move out, as of course siege tank a very good unit just to defend your position here. Huck feeling confident expanding into this location. He thinks he has an advantage, but sadly for him he's at only 41 workers versus 54 here by BOXER, so BOXER should of course be able to recover slowly but steadily, a little bit faster here than Huck. There's more and more. Once again zealots are being added, even an arbiter should pop out really soon. Of course arbiters are very much needed unit here if you're a Protoss player, as they make your units invisible. They also have the nice stasis field composition here against siege tanks. However, BOXER is very known to spread his siege tanks, of course. And once again a good engagement here with those zealots in the front. We are going to soak all of those mines straight into those siege tanks. So much splash damage here thanks to those mines. And once again BOXER has to lift up his base and just has to retreat. The arbiter is being added, and Huck doing a good job here, denying this expansion here for BOXER. At the same time we see another drop here by BOXER into this expansion. A really good engagement here by him. Already 13 kills for this tank. So many probes have fallen. Look at that. All of a sudden Huck in very big trouble. He's at 16 workers only. He did of course a good job here, but sadly for him he had no more defenses. And once again the dropship gameplay, the legendary dropship gameplay here by BOXER making his job. He even did a drop here, of course, as you can see, a double dropship gameplay here by him, even a third dropship here now. Really good stuff here by him, as Huck of course has difficulties to fend this off. It's very hard to fend it off, especially if you're being attacked at two locations at the same time. Once again we have a mine hitting so many probes, so many zealots, but splash damage has been done. So this is a very good tactic by the Terran, with those vultures, with those mines, just soaking up those mines, splash damage, and just killing as many probes as possible. Of course probes should be immune, they can walk over mines, but as soon as the mine hits zealots, for example, or even a vulture, they will deal massive splash damage, and Huck in some serious trouble with only 11 workers now versus 51 here by BOXER. BOXER once again taking this expansion here. Things looks very good here by him. He's showing us a great dropship gameplay, and he's perhaps even going into some science vessels now. Indeed, a science vessel, as he's preparing perhaps a strong move out. He feels very confident. Of course he's at 111, 115 supplies. More and more mechanical units are being pumped out, as Huck is very much crippled here by this attack. He's slowly but steadily recovering here, but he needs to be very careful. Once again we have a move out here with those vultures, but this time Huck prepared with a small army composition here with this arbiter backing up these units. Another arbiter is being produced. So let's just have a look at the follow-up when exactly BOXER is going to move out on the map. You should feel very confident. Of course he did so much economic damage against Huck. Huck mining from this location, and this location, his main is very likely going to be soon depleted. Very risky placement here of these tanks. Of course some zealots will of course deal so much splash damage as they soak up these mines into those tanks, but then again I'm thinking that BOXER feels of course so confident as he's able to hold this position. Even this small drop here with those zealots can't really hurt him that much, as there are mines here, there are some vultures, even Goliaths being added now just to fend this attack off. Of course a little bit of Huck is trying to buy a little bit of time here, but in the end this should be of course fended off immediately with those vultures. And finally BOXER is holding his position. Things looks very good for him. Huck is trying of course to defend as good as possible, but his army isn't that big anymore. He slowly but steadily has to recover his economy, as we're about to see. Pretty sure a move out here by the Terran, but no, the Terran, like most Terrans do, really like to just play a very defensive gameplay here. And in the end they're just being abusive with those vultures, of course. Even with a dropship, we've seen how much economic damage that dropship has done here, and even he added a dropship here with the siege tank, just deals so much splash damage here against those probes. But once again the Terran decides to be as defensive as possible. Now finally he's unsieging, so we might see a move out here. BOXER with 155 supply versus only 74 here by Huck, so the double amount of supply. Let's just have a look at the upgrades. 1-1 upgrades here for the Terran versus 0-0 upgrades here for the Protoss. So Huck might be in a little bit of trouble here if the BOXER indeed decides to move out. And indeed I see a big move out here from BOXER with those siege tanks, with those vultures. Even some science vessel here with defensive matrix perhaps is going to be used. EMP shockwave also very good against the Protoss, as they deny that energy for the Arbiter and the shield. So we're really going to have very soon an engagement. Of course the science vessel also detects the invisible units here for the Protoss, so much needed unity. We have a first engagement. Vultures in the front, not that much here by Huck. BOXER even decides to ignore this small army composition here by him and just moves out straight out on a nice beeline here from siege tanks. Siege tanks dealing so much damage here against those forges. Huck not really ready to engage into that. He's in big trouble. So many vultures, and now this, sadly for him, his probes are being undefended. So what exactly is his composition going to be? Perhaps he's going to try a miracle recall here, but his probes already have been suffering. 20 probes now only for Huck. He's perhaps going for a recall. Let's just have a look what exactly is he going to do. A nice stasis field here by him. His reinforcements are coming in. Very good stasis field here by him. There's some zealots in the front, but there's so much splash damage out of those mines, out of those siege tanks. And of course it is going to be GG. So a nice move out here by BOXER, finally securing his position. And once again he's shown us how important it is to use dropships with vultures against those probes. How important once again a dropship here, killing so many probes, of course, here with that siege tank, with those vultures. So pretty good stuff here, showing us that you can of course massively defend with the Terran, but at the same time you need to be as aggressive as possible with those vultures, with those mines, dealing so much splash damage in case a zealot is coming in, just killing so many probes as possible. So pretty good engagement here by BOXER. BOXER showing us once again his talent against the Protoss. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay as much as I did. I will be of course seeing you guys in the next replay. This is Tommy signing out.